Hi, everyone. Thanks for waiting, and we're actually going to commence today's webinar. Again, thank you very much for joining. We understand today's webinar is about 30 minutes. We will save some time for Q&A at the end, but we're going to get right into it. The topic for today is the FBX newsfeed opportunity. Today's webinar is brought to you by Chango in partnership with Facebook. From Chango, you have myself, Prem Shah. I head up strategy at Chango. And from Facebook, we have Anshu Khurana.
Hi there. Thank you, Prem. This is Anshu Khurana from Facebook Exchange. I'm a partner manager, and we're excited to speak to you about the newsfeed opportunity, which is now available to you via Chango, who is one of our qualified partners to have this.
Excellent. Thank you, Anshu. Before we get things started, I just want to give a quick overview of today's agenda. We're going to dive through a quick overview of Chango, talk a little bit about our programmatic marketing platform, and the programmatic tactics we use for prospecting and converting existing site visitors. Once that baseline has been established, we're going to dive right into the Facebook Exchange. We're going to provide an overview of what the Facebook Exchange is, some insights into right-hand side ads as well as the newsfeed ads, and then we're going to dive right into the real opportunity for marketers. For those of you new to Chango, or for those of you who already know Chango, this will just be a refresher for you. But Chango is a solution that marketers use because we consistently and professionally solve their digital needs. We're a programmatic marketing platform, which is basically a demand-side platform and a data management platform fused together. We allow marketers to fulfill their programmatic needs through leveraging our platform for either their self-serve purposes or for fully managed solutions. Today's focus is going to be on our solutions because that's what relates to the Facebook Exchange. Our solutions are prospecting and converting existing site visitors. Our fully managed solutions are managed entirely by Chango, and it leverages the knowledge and service provided by our client services team, our strategy group, data scientists, and ad operations team. Our prospecting solution is mainly search retargeting, and we also use lookalike targeting as a tactic. The main reason for using this for marketers is to find new customers based on their recent search behavior on Google, Yahoo, and Bing. In terms of converting existing site visitors, Chango's solution there is programmatic site retargeting. Site retargeting itself has evolved. And in order to find the true value of a particular user, instead of treating them all the same, Chango employs their tactic of intent scoring, which allows us to programmatically site retarget their audience. Diving right into prospecting for new customers. What does that mean? Well, Chango is able to identify those over 300 million plus users in terms of what they're searching for across Google, Yahoo, and Bing. We then remember those search terms against those users. Once we know those search terms against those users and the objectives of our clients in terms of prospecting new customers, we use the keywords that matter the most to them to prospect their customers. Chango does see over 8 billion search events per month, which is second to Google. In terms of site retargeting itself is fundamentally broken. In order for big data and programmatic to come together, site retargeting needs to happen programmatically. The more data we understand about an individual, the more it will lead to smarter decisions and increased efficiency for marketers. Without big data and programmatic coming together, everyone will be treated the same. Therefore, by using our intent scoring system, programmatic site retargeting is the ultimate result. Programmatic site retargeting, as mentioned, focuses on the true value of each visitor. We don't treat every visitor the same, nor do we employ the same retargeting tactics for a user who may be exploring a particular product page or category page. What we do is we identify the true value of each visitor and base our bid tactics accordingly. The benefits of that are reduced wastage and the ability to have a better return on your investment. Now I'm going to jump right into why FBX matters, which is the core objective of today's webinar. We've all heard various stats, starting from ComScore. 65% of the internet users are on Facebook on a monthly basis. In terms of social networking itself, over 70% of the online audience is spending time social networking. Therefore, it is a very relevant audience to speak to. What marketers are anticipating looking forward is that not only are their site retargeting and search retargeting budgets going to increase, but their FBX retargeting objectives are going to be increasing by over 60%. This is over the next 6 months. Marketers are truly understanding that it's important to have this communication across various platforms, that being traditional web and where their audience is social networking. Now we're going to talk about the real opportunity with FBX and Chango. As we all know, Facebook has over 1 billion registered users, and they represent approximately 25% of real-time impressions. What Chango delivers is the ability to bring in over 300 million search profiles and over 8 billion monthly search events into the Facebook environment through FBX. That allows us to fulfill prospecting and programmatic site retargeting efforts at scale with significant relevance. So the scale and relevance do matter a lot, given the stats that we just talked about. Chango also has a direct integration with Facebook as being an FBX qualified PMD partner. We're now going to dive right into understanding the Facebook Exchange in a bit more detail and talking a little bit more about the newsfeed. So what is the Facebook Exchange? The Facebook Exchange is an ad exchange. It is different than native ads. That's a very important distinction to remember. The reason for that is the Facebook Exchange, or FBX, allows approved demand-side platforms to bring in their unique third-party data and bid based on that data. It's also a highly visible inventory source, which includes both right-hand side placements and newsfeed placements, which you can see there's images that show the differences between the two and where they're placed. The important thing to remember about FBX is it allows for specific direct response objectives, such as search retargeting and site retargeting. And again, Chango is an FBX qualified company, and the benefit of working with an FBX qualified company is the direct integration, efficiency because we have the direct access to Facebook, and the trust that goes along with that integration. I'm now going to pass it over to Anshu, who's going to talk a little bit more about both ad formats.
Thank you, Prem. So as you guys who have been accessing Facebook Exchange so far have used our right-hand side ads so far, we have a new inventory, which is the news feed page post link ads, which we've brought into our exchange starting June 2013. And Chango is one of the few qualified partners who have now access to this inventory for their customers. The previous ads were smaller ads on the right-hand side, and with news feed ads, we have our customers who can be putting their ads on the link as link page post ads on the news feed, which is the heart of the Facebook. As you know, 1 in 5 internet minutes are spent on Facebook, and half of that time actually goes into news feed. So we're excited to be able to bring that inventory on to Facebook Exchange for customers. Essentially, this is a bigger ad unit. If you've bought through a Facebook Ads API and you've used these ads units before, you must have had a lot of success. Now you can use Facebook Exchange, where you are able to use Chango for site retargeting and for search retargeting objectives, and use these ad formats for that. Next slide, please. So as I mentioned, these are link page post ads only. Like Facebook Exchange only brings in desktop inventory. These are desktop only and not available on mobile. And what they may have is what we call social context. For example, Prem is a liker of a Jasper's Market, and he's a fan of that page. When I see that ad in my news feed, I will probably get a line which says, Prem likes Jasper's Market. So they are able to connect that Prem is a friend of mine and he likes Jasper's Market, and that will show up as a social context in the ad. The bigger objective for these ads is that they drive off-site objectives, like we were using right-hand side previously, which was the same, getting conversions through site retargeting and search retargeting. Next slide, please. So I'll just quickly dive into some specifics around how these ad formats differ so that this is very clear to the audience. The marketing objective for both the ads remains the same. They both are meant for direct response campaigns when you are trying to get conversions. The placement for the right-hand side has been the right-hand rail, and for the link page post ads are available on the news feed. The smaller ads at the right-hand side have small thumbnail image, they have a text to the title, they have a domain, and they link to sites outside of Facebook. So do all the newsfeed ads. They link to a site outside of Facebook. They have a description and text ad where you can put the description of which you can include in your creative. They have a bigger image, which is definitely helps you draw more attention and get more engagement. And most importantly, they come from the brand page. The name of the advertiser page and profile is also included in these creatives. In terms of how they differ in performance and what you can expect, the right-hand side are impression-based. Those are perishable impressions. Essentially, when a viewer is on a Facebook page, those ads come and go, and that's a one-time impression. And there's a lot of scale because there's high frequency. They keep rotating. But in case of newsfeed, they work very differently. The page post link ads are insertion-based. Essentially, if they become a part of your insertion, once you win an ad and your ad is up in a user's newsfeed, it is a permanent part of their newsfeed. So they are sold on based of insertions. Now you can, as a Facebook user, when you go back to your newsfeed and scroll down to look for some more content, you might see that since they are already in your newsfeed as an insertion, you will be able to see them again, which means that you can generate extra impressions, but the cost is done on the basis of insertions only. These are larger placements, which makes them very engaging units. And they also, as a result, have seen to drive higher click-through rates than right-hand side. And also because they are more in demand, they are bigger units, and by the nature of the ad format, they are sold at a higher CPM. Next slide, please. This is an example of how these two different ad creatives look like. This is being done by Chango. As you can see, these are bigger ad units, have more text, come from the voice of the page of Chango, and they are more engaging and have reportedly have higher conversions and click-throughs. Next slide, please. We've got a lot of questions recently about, how does this inventory differ? So I just want to take a minute and dive into some best practices which will help you get more success on this new inventory. First of all, it is very important to understand that even though it's coming through the same exchange, the same page, but they are two different, we should treat them as two different pieces of inventory. That is because the nature of the experience on the newsfeed is different. The newsfeed insertions are more engaging. As a result of that, you will see higher click-throughs, but you will also see higher CPMs. And their availability is different because right-hand side is perishable. You have more impressions being generated as you are spending time on the page. But in the case of newsfeed, because we do not want to have multiple ad insertions of the same brand in a person's newsfeed, you will see that they are, the frequency which you can hit a user with an honest newsfeed is much lower. So as a result of that, we recommend that you do not expect the same frequency on newsfeed as you expect on the right-hand side. But having said that, they are a part of Facebook. We do not recommend these to be used for brand messaging kind of goals. We still use them for direct response goals because they drive you off-site objectives. They click to websites outside of Facebook and not a Facebook page. And these are not social campaigns. These are, again, for any other exchange, the objectives you use, the metrics you use can be applied over here, and you can use the same display tactics which you have used for newsfeed. And we recommend that you do not leave out right-hand side. It is pretty compelling to have newsfeed, but given that they will not hit the same reach and frequency, we recommend that you continue to use right-hand side if you're really looking for scale. And a combination of that, as we have seen through various partners who've used both the ad formats, turns out to be more successful. And as I mentioned before, these are fetching higher CPMs. But important thing is that they drive much higher CTRs too. So in the end, your ROI is definitely higher than what we have seen on the right-hand side. And another important aspect to understand is that these have social context, and also they have like comments and shares, which again are not the core objectives of this ad. And so we do not recommend that you optimize based on that. Those are good byproducts to have. You should continue to use your own metrics like CPC, CPC, or CPA to judge the results of these ads and not the viral. Good results to share. Chango has been using newsfeed for a while now, and I think they have some excellent results which are very impressive.
Thank you, Anshu. That was great. So as Anshu was mentioning all those very important points or best practices, so to speak, we do want to dive into some of the success that we have seen with FBX Newsfeed. I do want to caveat that these are early results, and I do want to want everyone to keep in mind that the CPMs are different than some of the other ad formats we've been talking about in Facebook as well as traditional web. But this is sort of some of the trends that we have been seeing with FBX Newsfeed that I think is really exciting for marketers. So as you think about the impressions and sort of some of the caveats that Anshu had mentioned, based on the insertions that we are seeing with Newsfeed, the click-through rates are trending much higher than right-hand side and traditional web. And depending on the objectives, that being search retargeting or site retargeting, those results can vary anywhere between 5 to 15x. But the results are trending much higher with Newsfeed. Now, where the results get very, very interesting is the click-through conversions. We are seeing over up to 25 times higher click-through conversions than traditional web, and 30 times higher than right-hand side. That's implying some significant insight into the quality of the audience that you're getting through the FBX Newsfeed. To complement that further, the CPAs that we're seeing for the click-through conversions are 10 times better than right-hand side. These are all fantastic results as we think about the engagement and the quality of converters that you're getting from the Facebook Newsfeed. So as we take a look at these results and as we continue having more results pouring in, the takeaways we have right now for marketers are that primarily Newsfeed has been a complete success for marketers that are employing this tactic, and it's resulting in higher engagement, higher quality engagement, and better quality converters. What we have noticed though is right-hand side and Newsfeed perform better when running concurrently. I believe that's something that Anshu mentioned as well. And the main reason for that is you want to combine the quality of performance from Newsfeed, as well as the scale that you're getting, the scale and performance that you're getting from the FBX right-hand side ad units. So what we want to do, we want to leave some time for some Q&A, but what we do want to do is we've gone through a lot of points with you folks today, and we want to summarize some of the main things that we've gone through in this webinar. So I'm going to go through these 5 elements, and I see that some of them are slightly misnumbered here, but there are 5 key bullets that we do want to emphasize as we close this out. The Facebook exchange allows demand-side platforms to bring in their unique third-party data. For example, search intent data for prospecting or client first-party data for site retargeting. This is very different than native ads, which leverages Facebook data for retargeting purposes, that being profile data, et cetera, et cetera. Number 2, the Facebook ad formats, that being right-hand side and Newsfeed, can be leveraged for both prospecting and programmatic site retargeting needs. Number 3, extend your campaigns to FBX. Again, over 65% of Internet users are on Facebook, and your marketing message should extend to them when they are social networking. almost think of it as a conversation that you're having with your audience as they're moving around from traditional web and their social networking sites. Number 4, both newsfeed and right-hand ad units do differ, but they work best when used together, and therefore resulting in better quality performance and scale. And lastly, follow the newsfeed best practices when leveraging this new creative ad unit towards your campaigns. Although there are some differences with the newsfeed, if you're following the best practices and if you're cognizant of some of the differences, you will notice the results that we've been seeing with our campaigns to date. And we wish you all most success with your FBX newsfeed campaigns. This does conclude our webinar for today in terms of the webinar and the content itself. We do want to thank everybody for joining and listening in. We are going to use the next 8 minutes for Q&A, and we can certainly stay on a little bit longer for those who can also stay on longer as well. But to be fair, we're going to try to use the next 7 minutes to go through some of the main questions that are coming up. And as we do get some of the questions coming in, I do want to remind everyone on the phone that our next webinar is coming up on September the 25th, and it will be a programmatic primer. We're going to be talking about the different types of data, inventory sources, and so on and so forth. So we're excited to have you guys join us for that webinar as well. So one of the questions we had coming in was around, hey, are we able to track some of the social metrics that are coming in from the newsfeed ad unit? And the answer is yes. It is a byproduct of the ad. However, the likes, shares, and comments are trackable, and you should be able to receive those results from your site retargeting or search retargeting vendor. Another question we did receive is, can we talk a little bit more about click-through rates for newsfeed? Chango is focused on performance, so we focus on the return on ad spend or the ROI against a marketer's ad spend. And so the click-through rates based on search retargeting or site retargeting do differ significantly. What we can share at this point is that compared to traditional web or compared to right-hand side, the number can range anywhere between 5 to 12 times higher. And again, this is based on early results. But if you were to look at some of the campaigns that you're running today, you'll notice that there is a possibility to improve those click-through rates by 5x, 10x, 15x. It just depends on your objectives, whether that be search retargeting or site retargeting. So another question we received was along the lines of, how does performance differ when using intent data versus being able to use client first-party data? And for the purposes of putting sort of objectives in place, I'm going to identify them as prospecting or site retargeting. The overall performance that we're seeing across both tactics are positive. They're both higher. And as I mentioned about the click-through rate, it could range anywhere between 5 to 12 to 15 times better than right-hand side and traditional web. In terms of the click-through conversions, what we have noticed is performance that can range up to 10 times higher, and that was actually for a site retargeting campaign. We're also running some search retargeting campaigns where we are seeing the performance ranging anywhere between 5 to 11 times better. So the truth is it's coming in fairly similar, the performance, the incremental performance. It's coming in fairly similar for both. And because it's early days, we're hoping to capture some more data to really be able to say, search retargeting or being able to bring in intent data performs relatively different than a client's first-party data. But right now, there's positive signs for both. So another question we did get is, are we able to retarget someone based on previous intent expressed when traveling to a specific location or a hotel? The answer is yes. The intent data that we do capture can be leveraged for the specifics around location being expressed within that search query, or a particular hotel, especially when a brand name is mentioned. We can capture that data and use that towards your keyword campaigns. Another question we got is more along the lines of international reach. The ability as an agency outside of Canada, the UK, and the US to be able to target customers via FBX. And the answer is, if you're looking to target your audience within the geographies that we're present in today, absolutely. Chango is constantly growing in terms of our international footprint. So if the goal is to reach customers or existing site visitors through the US, UK, and Canadian market, then yes, absolutely we can. We have just about a minute left for today's webinar. So we're going to try to take all the incoming questions within this last minute. And again, we're happy to stay on a little bit longer for those of you who have some more questions. And for those of you who may be dropping off in probably 60 seconds or less, we do want to thank you for joining today. We appreciate you guys carving out some time for this, and we're hoping that you guys gained valuable insights with respect to the Facebook exchange and newsfeed ads and the performance we're seeing to date. So another question we have here is, can we explain how targeting is done within newsfeed and right-hand side ads? So again, the primary difference with FBX and targeting within the newsfeed and right-hand side is third-party data that exists outside of Facebook. So if you're looking to do site retargeting, someone who has come to your site, or if you're looking to prospect based on search intent data, FBX is your primary method in fulfilling those objectives. And the means in which that retargeting is done through an anti-platform like Chango is the same. We would bid based on that inventory, based on our intent score for site retargeting, or based on the keywords that we have against a particular user for that impression that we see on the change. And we would bid accordingly based on your objectives, whether that be return on ad spend, ROI, or whatever that performance metric is. So another question we have here is how can we get started? That's a great question. The process is actually very simple with Chango. Depending on your goals and objectives, whether that be programmatic site retargeting or search retargeting, we identify those objectives and those goals up front and during kickoff calls. From there on, depending on the campaign, we send over our pixels, and our AMs gather all the other requirements, discuss the strategy with you one more time, and make sure that we're all sort of on the same page, and we get the campaign started. And from there on, you receive the insights, the transparency and the reporting as your campaign is being cited. So another question we have here is, are we noticing specific trends for Canada or the UK versus the US? And the answer is no. The trends are fairly similar across all markets, including pricing and performance. And we have another question. The question is, how is FBX priced? So FBX is priced on a dynamic CPM basis, and native ads are priced based on a cost per click model. So the benefits of the dynamic CPM model for FBX is that performance is the primary criteria. And so as we're able to reach performance and efficiency against the impressions that we are bidding against, we can pass those savings back to our marketers, whereby they see a lower effective CPM. I believe that concludes the questions that we've received and the answers to those questions. If there are any other questions, I'm more than happy to take those questions right now, or you can certainly email me directly at Chango. So that's prem@chango.com, PREM@chango.com. And I'm more than happy to answer some of your questions and provide any additional insights. Okay, well, I thank everyone for joining today's webinar once again, and we look forward to speaking to you folks again September 25th, which will be our Programmatic Primer webinar. Thank you again for joining the FBX Newsfeed Opportunities webinar, and we wish you all best of luck with your marketing tactics. Thank you.
Thank you. Please stand by.